Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Talking with Our Traders, a Caesar Sportsbook original series. This is where we sit down with our very own Caesar Sportsbook traders to dive deep into everything NFL and college football. Whether you're looking for insider insights or just want to hear what the pros are thinking, you've come to the right place. Let's get into it. I am your host, Cindy Edwards, and with me today is Craig Mucklow, Vice President of Trading here at Caesar Sportsbook.
Hello there.
Hi, Craig. And Joey Fiesel, head of football here at Caesars.
Hello.
All right, guys, let's dive into some college football. Joey, can you break down the biggest odd movements in the futures market after week one of the college football season?
Yeah, very fun week one. A lot of big matchups. The first two were kind of the SEC dogs, the Blue Bloods. Georgia went from plus 290 to plus 250, which doesn't seem like a big move, but that's a big move, and they kind of really showed that they are back. They're on the revenge tour. They should have had the three-peat, or at least the chance for the three-peat. They didn't get there. And then Alabama. Everybody was kind of worried of, how's Alabama going to be without Nick Saban? Well, they look just fine. Granted, it was against Western Kentucky, but their offense was on fire. They go from 12-1 to plus 850. And then we get into the peril of the ACC. So we got Miami taking the biggest jump. Craig may or may not have said that he was high on them, but I think it was the benefit of kind of those top two expected teams, Florida State and Clemson. So we got Miami going from 28-1 to 18-1. And then you have Florida State. They opened up the year 25. They had the week 0. They went to 80-1. Now they're all the way to 200-1. So I think their season's over. Then Clemson, big loss. They go from 25-1 to 55-1. On the Heisman side, we've got, the biggest better betting liability we have. Travis Hunter goes from 22-1 to 17-1, down to 12-1. Bettors are still loving and coming in on that price. Then Cam Ward, same thing, correlated with the national, goes from 10-1 to 8-1. He looks really good. Granted, they were small favorites against Florida. The Florida team didn't look that great, but he looked like he fits the part. Then we have Nico Iamaleava, or Iamaleava. I don't know. It's
a good.
The jury's out. The jury's out. But he went from 41 to plus 850, kind of getting in that favorite tier. And then the other side, we have DJU. Unfortunately, 20-1 beginning of the year, 75-1. Now we have him at 500-1. Just really poor performance. He didn't get that benefit but we thought where Bo Nix did. We're going from team to team to team, and he looks like he is out of the race at this point.
Awesome. Great breakdown there, Joey. Let's get into this next segment, the hot seat. Which college coach has the hottest seat after week one?
There's an obvious answer.
There's two obvious answers, yeah.
Yeah, I think I know the two.
So double-digit spread home teams went 75-0 straight up until Monday night. And then Florida State on their revenge tour laid an egg, prime time again. That's not a hot seat because they've already started that recruitment process. So Norvell's not going to be there at the end of the year. Which leaves me with two of us. Coach Prime, who brings it on himself anyway, so he's always going to have the hot seat. But it has to, and I'll be stunned if you disagree. It's got to be Ryan Day of Ohio State. Ohio State fans think of two things, only want two things. Beat Michigan in a national championship game. And they haven't done that for a while now. Well, the last time they won was 2019 against Michigan. Chip Kelly's on the coaching staff. They've already got the successor lined up if this fails. So it's Ryan Day.
That's an interesting take because I think they're going to succeed until they get to the later part of the year. But it's definitely a hot seat. I mean, that's a very important role of Ohio State because you just are expected to be national champions every year. I had the same two with Florida. Just this is the ones that came out the gate not swinging at all. That's Norvell, Florida State, 0-2, both ACC losses. DJU, again, not looking great. So I think Norvell's his back's against the wall, so he's got to figure it out moving forward, or else he'll be gone midseason. And then Billy Napier. We saw that Miami just absolutely beat him at home. And the poor guy was even taking an L to trying to open up the water bottle in the press conference. So
it was tough.
I think he's going to get the benefit because they have the number one toughest schedule, so it's not getting easier. But certainly getting blown out at that week one, he's definitely on the hot seat. So both Florida boys for me.
All right. Well, we will continue to check in on that hot seat. But let's get into some game previews. First, we have Texas at Michigan. Joey, want to kick it off?
Yeah, so this was a play away from being the national championship last year. So we get the matchup, but with a different team. I think Michigan, they lose a lot. They lose their head coach. Their offense did not look great. Defense looks like it's still going to be a problem. But for that reason, we're seeing some Texas money. We opened this up at 4.5 on Sunday. It's already up to 7.5. So I think the one hand, Michigan's offense, we expected them not to be good. They looked probably worse. And then on the other hand, there was the thought that Texas, with their running back scenario, isn't going to be great, but they kind of blew Colorado State out of the water. So it's going to be an interesting line. We're taking mostly Texas money as expected. We're going to just see how Michigan reacts. They're still, the national champions last year, but just how they can get that quarterback ready to face a very powerful Texas offense. So it'll be an interesting game on Saturday.
Yeah, I think this one means more to Michigan than it does for Texas, purely because of looking at the schedule. Both teams, they won as expected. Texas dismantled Colorado State. Michigan did look on shaky ground for a while and got it going late in the fourth. This opened 3.5 Michigan in the summer.
Yeah, 3.5 Michigan.
And now 7.5 Texas, a huge move based off 1 week. Texas didn't beat anybody. They beat Colorado State.
Right.
So maybe a slight overreaction. Texas was a dark horse for a few people to win the title as a whole. Then they had issues with their running backs. But for me, until you play a team of substance, you've still got to beat the champion, and the champion's Michigan. There's potential strong wins in the game. Home field, the better ground game. I'll take the 7.5 Michigan, I would.
I don't hate it.
All right, let's get into our next game preview, Colorado versus Nebraska.
So this is the same matchup from last year. This is really when Colorado...
Same week as well.
Colorado Prove It week, right? Like everybody was like, they beat TCU, okay. And then they came out and they beat Nebraska pretty heavily. But last year we had Jeff Sims for Nebraska, kind of really struggled, especially throughout the year. He wasn't the guy. Now we got Dylan Raiola, and this kid, he looks like Patrick Mahomes. He wants to emulate like Patrick Mahomes. Looked good in his debut. You have a really good coach over there in Nebraska too. So this is going to be a big game of the week. The hype train seems to be anti-Colorado this week. We've seen this go up to 7, where it's kind of sitting there and kind of teetering to get to 7.5. But this is going to be a really good game, and we're going to find out who these teams really are.
This game last year was the number one in handle by a distance. Mm-hmm. The problem is, when it's number one in handle and it goes the customer's way, it's the number one result for customers as well. So we took a bath that weekend.
Yeah.
The Colorado hype train was in full momentum.
Full force, yeah.
And we did interview after interview on Colorado. It's just like, please lose at some stage. Are they ever going to win the national championship? No. I thought North Dakota State was the better team last week. I thought they should have beat Colorado. Sanders and Travis Hunter helped themselves immensely in the Heisman betting. They're padding stats against a bad team. They dismantled Nebraska last year. A better team this year, as Joey says. If there's ever a game for revenge and motivation, this is Florida State. Watch this game.
Take notes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into our next question, Craig. You called it last week with that upset alert, USC LSU. Yeah, round of applause. Which team is on upset alert this weekend?
First thing, even a blind squirrel finds a nut, and remember that. 2 games stood out in the math for me. Duke versus Northwestern, but there is potential of weather there as well, so I stayed away from that one. And that left me with your Syracuse team as a home dog against Georgia Tech. There you go. That's the upset of the week. Unless Joey confirms it, then I'm off it straight away.
I love it.
Syracuse was mine. Well, now it looks like I'm plagiarizing again, but that was...
I'll just turn this around.
No, I think Georgia Tech, they had the first couple good weeks. They obviously beat Florida State. We've seen how Florida State kind of reacted. Last week, they beat Georgia State pretty handily, but Georgia State coach quit in spring ball. So that's a team that's really kind of struggled. I think the market is overvaluing Georgia Tech. Syracuse, they didn't cover the spread last week. It was right on 16. It was about 17 points was the spread. So they didn't necessarily blow everybody away. They got ex-quarterback from Ohio State, Kyle McCord. He looked pretty decent. It's a tough place to play in Syracuse. So yeah, I got Syracuse, and of course I did not plagiarize that. That came from me.
No, guys, I love it. I love it.
This is going to get boring though if we keep agreeing.
Oh, trust me, there's a long way to go. Great. Let's get into some NFL. Guys, it's finally here. NFL kickoff is tomorrow night. But before we get into game previews, will Caleb Williams be able to throw over 3,550 passing yards this season?
I think as long as he's healthy, he will. I think that's most of these player props you're going to see if they stay healthy. When we open up these season long, we get a lot of kind of the professional, the sharper type action on the unders because there's injuries that happen all the time. And if you get 1 or 2 weeks, it's going to be very hard to cover that number. So most of these are going to get over if they're healthy. The one thing I think that's interesting with the Bears is that they're really going to be an offensive team this year. They're really trying to change their thought process. You have one of the best receiving corps in the league on paper. And it'll be interesting if they can get there because they have not been that offensive team in so many years. Caleb brings that improvising factor, that it factor, that Mahomes factor. So I'm really interested to see how they come out the gate against Tennessee on Sunday. But I think, if he stays healthy, I think it'd be no problem getting over this number.
Only 12 rookies have ever eclipsed that number. 7 of those 12 were number 1 draft picks, the number 1 overall. So at least it's in Caleb's favor. The Bears, as Joey said correctly, they've given Caleb every opportunity to succeed. They've surrounded him by weapons on paper. But Caleb's played his career in warm weather climate. He's got 2 games in December in Soldier Field, and he gets to go to Lambeau Field at the end of the season. Let's just see how he handles Mother Nature. Again, you're only an injury away from the under. I can't take an over. It's under for me all the way.
All right. Can you explain why Lamar Jackson's MVP odds are tied for the 8th shortest as the reigning MVP?
Yeah, because there's 7 better quarterbacks. 4 of those ahead of him in the betting either should have been MVP or have been MVP. Jalen Hurts should have won it a couple of years back, got injured. Purdy should have won it last year, laid an egg on Christmas Day, and that basically handed it to Lamar Jackson. If that's a different result, Joey's not eating a hot chip, and Brock Purdy wins MVP, and great result for customers. But outside of that, Josh Allen, CJ Stroud, no, Lamar's a better quarterback. It's just tough to go back-to-back as an MVP. And then you got the contenders, Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, Purdy, Love, Rodgers. So
does that play a factor into it, that it is tough to go back-to-back?
Yeah, I think there's a higher standard. Like it's same thing with Heisman. We saw with Caleb. You have to do more than what you did for an MVP season, which is hard to do.
Right.
But I think it's pretty simple for why he's down. I think we're expecting a regression for the Ravens. They were the clear number 1 team last year. They couldn't get it done in the AFC Championship game. And then what changes we got coming in? Todd Monken last year said we're going to pass more. They really didn't. And then what do you do in the offseason? You bring in Derrick Henry. They're going to run the ball more. So I think that goes along with the regression. We don't expect the Ravens to be as good, which we'll get into later. They're going to play bully ball. They're not going to go to passing a lot. I think it's going to be harder for Lamar to shine in that system if they're doing Derrick Henry. Are they going to be good with probably running the ball? Absolutely. But it's not going to be as easy of a path to get the MVP or to compete for a Super Bowl.
Poor Derrick Henry is not the best running back in his backfield now.
Yeah,
It's
that's
Lamar.
true. Yeah, it's Lamar, yeah.
That is true. What is your favorite futures market heading into the season?
I got the AFC East, and that's a kind of a specific one, but I'm really interested in who comes out on top because there's going to be some wild movement week in and week out because there's 3 top dogs and then a younger brother with the Patriots who we don't expect to do a lot. So that is going to be something that we're going to be trying to get ahead of and trying to kind of nail down who these teams are early, and that's going to be a headache, but also fun. That's the fun part of this job is those tough markets to book.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Oh, it's going to be bliss. I look for something different. So Joey and the team have put a great set of props together for all the individual teams.
Yeah.
And stay close to home with what you know the most. So I looked at the Dolphins props. Miami to score 1+ passing touchdown in all 17 regular season games, 12-1. It's a nice price. They missed it by 1. The Titans game on the Monday night where Miami blew the lead at the end. I blew 14-point lead or something. That cost them the division, and it cost them a home playoff game. So circle September the 30th now, because the Dolphins get the Titans again on Monday night in Miami. They won't make that mistake again.
Their only enemy is December. That's the only.
That's their biggest opponent ever.
Yeah.
And January by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Very true. Which team will be the most mid team this season? Do you guys need a refresher on what mid is?
I know. I think I got it. The New Orleans Saints are going to be the most mid team. I expect them to have a 7 or 8 win season. They're not really an explosive offense. They're pretty good on defense. But that's the mid position is not where you want to be in the NFL, right?
Right.
Because you're not contending in the playoffs and you're not getting a number 1 draft pick. So it's the worst position to be. I'd much rather be the Patriots this year than the Saints.
It's exactly what I did. I looked at the season wins and I looked for all the 8.5 win teams. And because I've already dogged on the Steelers before, thinking that they'll be the last team to get a win this year, I picked the Steelers. And it'll be interesting because you've got the great coach in Mike Tomlin. Mm-hmm. They'll always be in a game. But I just think this is the year that it just falls apart.
Yeah, we keep waiting for that year, and it just never comes.
Yeah, but he's had quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I don't rate either of them.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the Craig special. Favorite week 1 game for the total to go under?
I start with the Bills-Cardinals under 48.5. And when that wins, you go Cowboys-Browns under 41.5.
I'm the opposite for him. I got the Raiders-Chargers, but I got the over for our next one for one of his games.
The question was under.
For this one, I got Raiders-Chargers. I think we have Harbaugh coming in. He's going to really try to run this bully ball. I don't know how it's going to work because you have Herbert. It's going to be interesting to see how they react with a full actual regular season game. And then the Raiders really have that not a really good quarterback. They wanted a quarterback in the draft. They couldn't get him. I expect a lot of Zamir White running the ball. Mm-hmm. So give me the under on that one, 40.5.
Always the danger with those kind of totals and those kind of teams is the dreaded pick 6, which is the scourge of any under better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. The public special. Favorite week 1 game for the total to go over. Joey?
Fading Craig here. Bills, Cardinals over. Kyler Murray, healthy. You got Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, good running back. There's going to be some points scored. And I think I'm kind of really fading the Bills, especially on that defensive side. Mm-hmm. And then if they get down early, then Josh Allen's going to lose his mind. It's either going to throw that pick 6, or they're going to just be driving down the field. So I like the over 48 in that one.
Colts, Texans over 48.5.
Okay.
Anthony Richardson's back. They put points up last year. I remember right, I think there was 7-2 at home over last year. The Colts.
They looked good.
They looked good when Richardson was playing, and they competed till the end. The Texans, you only have to look at how they performed last year offensively, so there's every potential.
Yeah.
I hate over, so I wouldn't even listen to my answer.
Fun fact, me and our producer Salad were at that game when he got injured, so might be our bad luck showing again. Who is a lock to score a TD in week 1?
This has been in my calendar for months. Literally, it has been, no lie. Josh Jacobs at Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Will get a receiving touchdown. I'm not even going rushing it in. He's going to catch a touchdown. He's 5 completions away from the record for the most completions without a touchdown. And Jordan Love has already publicly said, this is not going to happen. I'll make it not happen. So let's just hope he knocks it out on Friday night and then job done. I haven't got to chase next week.
I went pretty chalky, but it's the man, the myth, the legend, CMC. He gets one every week. There are 2 last year he didn't get besides the week 18 where he didn't play. He's going to get in the end zone.
What price is that? Like minus 400 or something?
Yeah. We said
that's
lock.
Okay.
So
It's a lock.
At least mine's plus money.
It's a lock.
Yeah, mine's a plus money
lock. Okay. Which week 1 underdog is most likely to get a win?
So opposite of college, I only win a 3-point. This one, I'm going to go along with my over. I'm say the Cardinals get it done. I think this is going to be a very good Cardinals team this year. Give me the Cardinals to beat the Bills.
I almost took that, but I'm going the Titans.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Rookie quarterback. I think the last 15 number one picks are like 0-14, 1 or something. Yeah. It's like ridiculous. You're not playing Pac-2 or Pac-12 or wherever the teams are now. You're not in the sunshine. You're against NFL defenses. All this hype. Give me the Titans against a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I think that Titans offense is being slept on with how many weapons they have, and it's going to be a new, the Bengals coach comes in to head it's going to be it's not going to be the same old Titans too.
Yeah. I thought about the Ravens and Colts, but the Titans was the one.
Like it. Okay, now before we dive into this week's matchup, it's time for everyone's favorite forecast, Craig's Weather Watch. Because let's face it, who cares about a little rain when you're walking the dog? But when you've got money on the game or the over or under, suddenly those clouds look a little bit more interesting. Is that right, Craig?
No clouds, no bet.
All right, what game should we be keeping our eyes on for this week's Weather Watch?
Joey didn't look at the weather because the Cardinals, the Bills will be 16, 17 mile an hour winds.
Ooh,
yeah, didn't look
spicy.
Also, the Cowboys and Browns, 15 to 25 mile an hour winds. So there you go. There's my 2 wonders. You know where I got it from. One word of warning. If you are betting weather, if you're looking at it and it has thunderstorms, it's not an underplay because they stopped the game for safety.
Yeah.
So they wait till that rain's gone. It was Penn State and West Virginia at the weekend. Game was stopped for an hour and a half. Clear blue skies when they come out. So avoid the thunderstorms. College-wise, Duke and Northwestern Friday night, 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. And then there's some other significant ones. Troy, Memphis, Texas, Michigan. Hence, I take the points with Michigan. Give me a touchdown with bad weather. Northern Illinois, Notre Dame, UTSA, Texas State. There's your windy games this week.
Love it. And you heard it here first for this first edition of Craig's Weather Watch. Let's get into
I want one of those clickers.
Yeah,
we should get the green screen. Yeah, there you go.
Now let's get into some game previews. Starting off with Ravens versus Chiefs tomorrow night. A little bit of a rivalry game, kind of. The Chiefs knocked the Ravens out of the playoffs and then won the Super Bowl that the Ravens kind of were thought of to be the ones to win. And Lamar Jackson just doesn't have a great record against Mahomes. So, guys, let's get into the preview. Craig, why don't you start us off?
As you said, rematch of last year's AFC Championship game where the Chiefs managed to knock out all 3 of my tickets, the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Ravens.
It's a hell of a run.
Yeah. If you're the Ravens, you just got beat at home. Kansas City are lifting the Lamar Hunt Trophy on your home field. And luck would have it, the NFL scheduled to get them watch the raise the championship banner on opening night. The Ravens will be up for this. Week 1, Chiefs lost last year, opening night as defending champions. If this was Chiefs minus 3.5, I'd be all in on the Ravens. If it's minus 2.5, I'd be all in on the Chiefs, but the line is 3. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle. I do think Ravens are a live dog. They're always well prepared. Kansas City care about February.
Right.
The Ravens are in a tough division, so every single win is really going to matter to them. The Chiefs will win the division, no problem. Very small chance of rain, but it's the Ravens for me. I just think that they come out the gate far well prepared every year.
Joey, anything to add?
Yeah, I think if you look at these 2 teams, obviously the top of the AFC, and for good reason. They're a very talented team, very good coaches. But I think the difference maker is how much the Ravens, in their offseason, they lose Queen at linebacker, Clowney on edge, Darby at cornerback, somewhere where their defense was a strength last year. That's going to make a difference. Not only that, you lose your defensive coordinator. Really good defensive mind. Only good things coming out of Seattle, out of Mike McDonald. I think the Chiefs, they lost their top corner. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. And then you bring in Xavier Worthy with speed. Rashee Rice looks like he's going to be good to go. You got Hollywood Brown who's going to be out in this game. But I think it's been all ups for the Chiefs and downs for the Ravens. So I think Chiefs are the right side here. We have been seeing Ravens money come in. It's going to be, that can all change on Thursday when the majority of money is going to come in. But I think, it's been teetering from 2.5 to 3 all summer. It's 3, but it's -3 even. So it's not looking like it's going to 3.5. It looks like it's probably going to end up on 3, but this is going to be a really interesting game and fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. Okay, let's get into our next game preview. Packers, Eagles. Joey, start us off.
Live in Brazil. First international game of the season.
An interesting one,
it's
for
an
sure.
interesting one. These are your third and fourth selection for your NFC favorites. The Eagles made some fun offseason moves. We're looking at Sirianni was kind of in the hot seat in that second half of last year. So what's he do? He brings in a new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, Chargers, Boise State quarterback, really highly thought of the league. We'll be interested to see how this offensive looks. You bring crosstown rival with Saquon Barkley in. That's a big move, and kind of they should be very good of running that. You lose Kelsey, your captain of your team. We'll see how that plays out, especially with the tush push. But Vic Fangio on defense, I think this Eagles team really kind of puts it forward. They're again my Super Bowl pick. I think it's for good reason. And then you have the Packers, Jordan Love. They also made some good moves in the offseason. It was the first time Jordan Love had that starting season to kind of pass the reins of like that succession plan, and it worked out. Is it going to continue to work out? I guess we'll see. I think this line hasn't got to 3. It's really been stuck at 2.5, going back and forth with juice-wise. I think it's going to stay there, but I like the Eagles here.
One of the rare occasions we open up a line in the summer for something I look ahead, and I go walking out of my office and straight up to Joe, and I'm like, what are you thinking here? Like, no, you're wrong. And then he corrected me. The Packers are getting a lot of love, obviously for all the right reasons. They're a young team, made improvements. They're a missed field goal away from potentially being in the conference championship.
Yeah.
That game changed off that field goal. And they dominated Dallas in the wild card game, and they dominated San Francisco for a long time. So obviously they're getting the obvious love. The Eagles, they were 7-1 heading into that gauntlet of that schedule. Dallas, Bills, 49ers, Dallas again, Chiefs, if I remember rightly. But they actually won 3 of those games. But the toll it took on them when the 49ers demolished them and then the Cowboys got them as well, it felt like the ceiling had fallen apart. They lost their defensive rookie of the year as well. He would have won it. Look, the Eagles is loaded with talent. They're well motivated after last year. Sirianni's got to be on the hottest seat of all the coaches. They brought in Fangio as the defensive coordinator. They've started 13-1 and 10-1 the last 2 seasons. They always get out the gate quick. The Packers are the definition of mid, 9-8 and 8-9. Both our pick for the Super Bowl, which means they're not winning the Super Bowl. But you'd be crazy not to not take the Eagles. However, I would say it's huge for the Chiefs and the Ravens. It's the same as this game. It's huge for whoever wins the game, but it's not the end of the world for whoever loses it because you've just lost to a quality opposition. It's not like you've just lost to Western Kentucky or something.
Right.
So yeah, Eagles.
All right, I like it. Let's move on to the next game. Rams at Lions, another rematch. How are we feeling for this one, Joe?
Yeah, it's going to be a great Sunday night game to kick off. The line's at 3.5 Lions. It's been at 3.5 since we opened, so it must be the right line. Rams side, there's some questions on defense because you lose your Hall of Famer. Aaron Donald retires. And we'll see how they react to that. You lose your defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris. But I think these are going to be 2 really good offensive teams. I think you have Puka and Cooper healthy for the Rams. Stafford looks healthy for the most part. And then on the Lions side, they were just, the team of destiny last year that didn't get there. So I expect a lot of points being in this game. I think Stafford is still going to have that motivation to kind of beat him because they couldn't get him in the playoffs last year for that homecoming. But I think it's cheers to the NFL. They did a great job of picking that Sunday night matchup. It's a great matchup.
All the primetime games are tremendous this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's almost how can we cause enough fan uproar, like get these marquee matchups? It's Goff versus Stafford round 4. Goff leads Stafford 2-1 in wins and got Detroit's first playoff win in 32 years last year. But Stafford leads Goff in titles 1-0. The Lions were up 17 points against the 49ers and completely collapsed in the second half.
Yeah.
Did they become the Lions we thought they always are? Maybe, but I mean, hell of a coach, great team, a lot of momentum. The one thing that concerns me is Matthew Stafford. His wife has come out like, I'm not going to the game this year, and it's unnecessary publicity. And it
there
kind
was
of
that
creates
weird
a distraction.
situation. She was mad that people were
Well,
booing.
they got abused, and the kids did. But you're going to on the road in a stadium, you're going to get a level of abuse. So
100%.
don't say publicly. Just watch it from home and just leave it. So
She speaks publicly a lot, though. I think she has a podcast. Like, I think that's
how she
her
said
MO.
it.
Yeah.
But I think I'll take the under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we think it will be a similar outcome to last
It was a great game last
It was a
year.
great game.
It was.
It's a really good
But
game.
remind me, the Lions like ran away in like the very end, but like it was pretty close the entire
21-20
time.
or something.
I think
it was
it
a
came down to
1-point game.
last possession.
Last
and then
possession.
they just couldn't get done,
Definitely excited.
24-23.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, next up, Jets 49ers in Aaron Rodgers' debut. It's been, I don't know how many days.
600 days.
600 days, yeah, insane. Craig, break it down.
No notable sharp wages on this one, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah, I had a look.
Is that because everyone's confused? They don't know? Could go either way.
Well, I mean, it'll be the same argument as mine. You've got a team who've been to the Super Bowl last year and the last 3 NFC titles at home on prime time with an East Coast team coming all the way over, and they're not kicking off till 8:30. Their body clock. You've got a quarterback who's 40 years old, hasn't started in 600 days, didn't play any preseason. I think the one thing to look out for is Aaron Rodgers will know exactly where Leonard Floyd is on the field because, ironically, he plays for the 49ers now, and he was the one that injured Rodgers with the Achilles last year. And it reminded me of many years back. You're too young. There was a guy called the Patriot Killer, and it was Bernard Pollard. He played for the Chiefs, and he fell into Brady's knee and tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Then he ended careers for 3 other Patriots players when he moved to the Ravens as well. So Leonard Floyd is going to get triple teamed on Monday, I guarantee it, and Rodgers will keep an eye out for him. But again, pick-wise, I mean, it's the same logic for me. East, West, prime time at night, a rusty quarterback. For all I know, Rodgers. I'd love to see Rodgers come out like he did last year on Monday night, because with the flag and the lights, and it was like,
so fun.
as a non-American, even I shed a tear. It was like, I'd love to see that again, and I'd love to see him hit his prime again because he's a brilliant quarterback.
Yeah.
But like the 49ers are loaded.
Yeah.
And Joey's minus $4 pick will score as well. CMC.
And they're paying their guys.
It's the under.
Getting it done.
I can't pick a side, but it'd be the under for me or the 49ers.
Yep.
Joey?
Yeah, 49ers, Super Bowl loss hangover after blowing that game. But they're still very talented. I think we've seen a lot of movement in this game. We opened this at 6. It went all the way down to 3.5. But I think a lot of that was the signing. You got Trent Williams, one of the best tackles in the league. He just signed. Ayuk, I don't think he moves the needle that much, but he signed. So now we're seeing it back at 4. And the Jets fans, they can be optimistic again this year until the game starts. So I really don't have a side on this. I think on paper, the Jets team is very talented. They're very talented, one of the most talented in the league. And their schedule lines up for this. They got to get past this game. If they can get past this game, they're going to be a real player, especially in the AFC East. But yeah, I can't pick a side on this one. Just I don't know how the Niners are going to react to that Super Bowl loss, and then kind of really a lot of drama in the offseason.
Yeah. All I will say is that is my favorite NFL tradition is the Jets fans super happy pre-week 1.
Yeah, it's always
and then
week 1.
Then the inevitable decline.
Reality sets in.
Okay, guys, last question. Thoughts on Tom Brady's broadcasting debut? Craig, let's start with the hater himself.
You can't knock the guy's preparation. When he was a quarterback, he'd have all his wide receivers at his $1 million mansion, millions of dollars mansion. They'd be practicing the summer, practicing the off-season, get that timing right. The guy's preparation levels are unbelievable. I no reason not to think he wouldn't be equally as prepared as he would. Probably have to get used to not dogging on players and teams that he maybe used to play with, which was always Peyton Manning's thought. I don't want to go in the booth because I don't want to come across unprofessional. It'll be a learning curve for him, but it's Tom Brady. He's brilliant at everything he does. So, yeah, good luck to him.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great. I think, like, the amount of insights you can get, kind of how we see with Tony Romo, like if just him breaking down the game and the way he sees it, and he's one of the greatest football minds, I think it's going to be tremendous.
And he's calling the Cowboys Browns.
Browns, yeah.
So he's not going to be calling many scores anyway because he's going under because of the weather. So he hasn't got to get used to that yet. But the one thing Romo did do really well is how he called the coverage and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm calling it now. Craig is going to become a Tom Brady stan after this season.
I'll take the under, yeah.
All right. Okay, let's get into our weekly game picks. So this is going to be a weekly segment of ours up until Super Bowl where we each pick a college and an NFL pick of the week. We're keeping score. We have our bet.
There is a bet.
In place to be held accountable. Salad will keep score. Craig, why don't you start us off?
Okay, I've already told you. NFL, Bills, under 48.5. College, Northwestern, under 37.5. You don't even have to wait till college Saturday to get the first winner in.
College-wise, I'm going Oregon, Boise State over 61. The Ducks came out slowly last week against Idaho. The media's they dropped down the AP poll unnecessarily. I think they want to prove something this week. Mm-hmm. On the other side, Boise State, they gave up 45 points to a really poor Georgia Southern team, and they scored 56. Boise State always shows up in big games. This game means a lot for their Group of 5 playoff spot as they can get ranked, and then if they really have a simple schedule through that Mountain West, they have a chance of being that number 1 Group of 5 team. I expect a shootout in this game. I don't think Boise State will get it done, but I expect them to at least put a couple touchdowns on the board. And then NFL, give me the Vikings minus 1.5. I think the betting market is very down on Sam Darnold. They expect the same Sam Darnold on different, poor teams. He's got a good team. He's got a good system. He's got weapons, probably the best wide receiver in the game. Give me the Vikings. And then the Giants, I think it's going to be a dumpster fire. I think Daniel Jones makes terrible mistakes. I think there was, you lose Barkley, your number 1 weapon. Yeah, give me the Vikings on week 1.
I like it. Okay, for college, I'm going Texas to win, not to cover. Crazy. I know.
Michigan plus 7.5.
Michigan plus 7.5.
Yeah. I just wanted to do a little riddle for you, Craig.
Yeah.
And then NFL, Raiders, Chargers under 40.5.
Yeah. Nice logic.
Nice logic, right? Okay, guys. Well, that concludes this week of Talking with Our Traders. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you do not do so already, please follow us at Caesar Sport on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, and now we even have a podcast. So follow us there. Guys, any last words before we wrap up?
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck this
I
weekend.
look forward to picking the restaurant at the end of the year.
All right.